Stanley brothers, who lived in the area and worked in the market. Their stall was full of second-hand goods brought from house sales: lamps, furniture, china, bric-a-brac, and a few antiques, anything that would bring in a shilling or two. They were small-time villains, into anything illegal that would bring in money. But they were cunning, clever, and ruthless, always one step ahead of the law. Percy was the eldest at 30, a dour-looking man who seldom smiled. He would look at you with a steely glare that was enough to chill your blood. His brother, Arthur, was 23, reasonably good-looking, with an eye for the ladies, but who had to do as he was told by his dictatorial brother. Phoebe, aware that she was alone at night, carrying money after she closed, was prepared for all eventualities, and always carried a long hat-pin in the lapel of her coat, and hidden on her stall was a small cudgel, just in case of trouble. It was Friday, payday for those who were employed, and tomorrow was their busiest day, with families stocking up for the week ahead. Early every Saturday morning, a butcher's horse-driven van would arrive and set up. Chickens and rabbits would hang from hooks at the open back of the van. On a long table in front would be displayed cuts of meat laid out ready for sale. Those who could afford it brought decent cuts. Others would buy up scrag ends of mutton and bones to make a broth. The upper classes would shop in the town centre, but Kingsland Market was where those who had little money or those looking for a bargain would do their buying.
"Mind your backs,"
came a cry in a gruff male voice as Percy Stanley pushed a barrow through the middle of the market towards his stall. Sometimes the brothers would use a horse-driven vehicle when they had furniture to sell after going to a house clearance or sale. They would give the horse a nose bag to keep it quiet and would often have to clear up its mess with a shovel at the end of the day. Every now and then the police would walk through the market, chatting to the stallholders and always stopping longer at the brothers' stall, which they searched for stolen goods. Percy would take delight in baiting them, knowing there was nothing untoward for sale. Any stolen goods were well hidden elsewhere, and trading for those was done very carefully at night in different locations. Whereas the police would exchange friendly banter with most of the traders, with the Stanley brothers their demeanour was quite different. They had no respect for these men, and it was a challenge among the men in the force to be the ones to eventually catch the brothers in their illegal deals and put them behind bars. Percy was being his usual belligerent self as the constables looked through the goods on sale.
"Find anything dodgy, did you then?"
One of the men looked at him with distaste.
"You'll end up behind bars one day, Percy. It will be my pleasure to see you locked away. Inside you may learn some manners and respect."
Percy just laughed.
"Every villain makes a mistake one day, and on that day I'll be just behind you,"
snapped one of the policemen as he walked away. Percy just muttered a few expletives as he watched the men leave. Eventually it was time to close. Phoebe took down the canvas cover from its poles, laid it on top of her stall. She gave a bag of fruit and vegetables to a scruffy little lad who was looking longingly at the fruit and was hovering nearby. Then she wheeled her cart away, locked up for the night, and walked home. Her mother, Mary, was folding laundry when she opened the door and stepped into the room. The air felt damp from the washing, and Phoebe put some wooden logs into a small grate on the range to dry out the room and made herself and her mother a cup of tea, pouring the boiling water from the kettle on the hob over the fire of the black-leaded stove. Tim was sitting at the table eating a bowl of hearty chicken and vegetable soup, with a thick slice of bread and dripping. Phoebe sat beside the fire, holding her frozen hands out to the warmth, rubbing them together to help the circulation. It was good to be inside after such a long cold day. She removed her high-button boots and then her stockings, plus a pair of socks, pouring some of the hot water into a bowl, adding a little cold water, then putting her feet into the bowl. She sat back in a chair and sighed. "I can't tell you just how good that feels. I've not been able to feel my feet all afternoon." "I know how you feel," said her mother.